All right, I do have a couple minutes after, so I think we'll get started. Again, welcome everyone to our webinar called How to Achieve More Efficient Payable Processes with wsTOOLS. And payables will be our focus today. We are going to talk about 5 tools, and if you imagine, a half hour, 5 tools, we'll be moving fairly quickly through them. So we'll hit the highlights to start with, and then Sandy's going to show them in GP so you can actually see them in the process and how they work. The one thing is, again, we probably can't, spend tons of time on each tool, just as we're going to do, 5 of them during this time frame. But definitely, if you have questions, want to see them a little more in depth, talk about how it applies to your processes and how you use them in your office, certainly schedule time with us so we can spend more time one-on-one with people as well. As well as we also have our library out there for all of our wsTOOLS, where Sandy or others have recorded little snippets, 2-3 minutes, about how the tool works and how it could make you more efficient within your processes. Check out those as well if you haven't had a chance to do those too. All right, Sandy, I think we're ready for our first one.
Okay.
Let's go to our first slide,
There
which
we
is
go.
PO vendor change. In this particular one, and actually we're going to talk about PO vendor change and PM vendor change. So for purchase order, which is the PO side, you can change a vendor name once you've created the purchase order and saved it, committed it, without having to rekey the whole thing. Because once you do that save and commit, right, your PO vendor, your vendor name and number are dimmed out. So here it allows you to have this nice little pop-up window when you choose to change vendor. You put in the new vendor and it automatically updates all of your tables for you. Saves you tons of time of having to rekey that information or copy it over to a new vendor. You can just change that current one based on circumstances, whether it be that you started out with the wrong vendor by mistake, or it turns out that vendor couldn't deliver those products and you want to have somebody else deliver those products to you. So the pop-up window is the same between the PO side, and then Sandy, if you want to hop into the PM side, there again shows the exact same window popping up where you can put in the new vendor ID. And again, to show it on slides, there isn't a whole lot to show, but to show it in the product and actually see how it just automatically changes your PO vendor for you is wonderful and time saving. So excellent product, a hot little product that lots of our customers have. Now let's go on to the next one. And this one is actually for both customers and vendors, but again, we're focusing on payables today, so I'll talk about the vendor side. But this is a new inquiry window that we've built, and there is lots of fun things that you can do with this new inquiry window. First off, specifying the vendor that you want to pull up, and then you can choose whether or not you want to bring in work transactions, open, or history transactions, and pick and choose from that, as well as you'll have your aging buckets that you can see over to the right side. And you can drill down on any of the aging buckets and bring in that data on the bottom, and then you can export it to Excel. So if you are seeing that you owe a vendor, let's say $5,000, and you have 5 invoices that make up those $5,000, but he's saying you owe $10,000, you could say, okay, here's what I'm showing. These are the invoices. These are the dollar amounts. What do you have that's different? You can actually export that data out and send it to them electronically. So then again, you can get that information solved. But lots of fun inquiry slicing and dicing you can do there to see those transactions and to get them exported out of your system if need be as well. So we'll see that in action. Let's talk about the next one, Sandy.
Yeah.
PM Unapply, yay. So you may have heard of RM Unapply because that is part of the product. But then if you go to the PM side, the payable side, you're like, where is the Unapply? Well, it's not there. It's not part of the core product. So we've made this product works very similar to your RM apply in the sense of 2 transactions that were applied and they're in history. You can go and choose to unapply them and it'll bring them back into your open transactions. And then at that point, if you need to apply that, let's say a credit memo to a different document or a payment to a different document, you can do that once it's back into your open transactions. So again, saving lots of time so you don't have to avoid things, do those type of things to fix maybe something that you did in error. So that one's a fun product. So we'll take a look at that one today as well. I've got a couple more. Simple use. For those of you that need to keep track of use tax, that's where simple use comes into play. And you can do use tax on your payables transactions, your purchase order transactions, which would be like, receiving transaction, invoice, return, anywhere that you would have to apply those use taxes. And again, we're still using the GP tax schedule, so it's not like in a different product that's doing your calculation for taxes or anything. You're still basing them on your GP tax schedules. It's just doing the use side of it versus sales tax side. And here, when you say, yep, this particular invoice is subject to use tax, it will create that use tax amount, but then you'll see that it also backs it out in the miscellaneous field so that your vendor invoice isn't any higher, right? Because you only need, in this example, need to pay your invoice of $4,000 to the vendor, but you want to track a use tax of $300 that would apply to what you purchased. So again, great flexibility in how you set it up, but definitely keeping track of that use tax is very powerful tool. And the last one is the summary recalc. And this is where you can calculate your summary totals to make sure they're accurate. Because if you had documents that you paid for the new year passed after you did year-end closing, your totals may not be accurate, your summary totals. Well, this allows you to get those summary totals back in line with where they should be based on the transaction dates that happened. And again, we'll talk more about this in the demo as well, but not a lot to show from a demo perspective. But if you have questions on any of this, definitely give a shout out to us and we can answer those. All right, Sandy, I sent them quick, so let's take a look at those demos.
Alrighty. Okay, so here we are in the purchasing, and let's start with the PO vendor change. So coming in here to PO entry, and I'm going to pick one that I know has lots of lines on it. And for those of you that might be key to ACT users, this also, as you can see, has service calls and jobs on some of the lines. But anyway, if we want to switch the vendor for whatever reason, all we do is come up here to the additional menu and pick change vendor ID. And then we just select our new vendor. So let's say it's supposed to be ABC Plumbing instead of a travel company. So I just pick it and then I hit commit, and it's updated here. So I can save it, I can bring it back up. That was 2104. And we've got our new vendor on there with everything still attached. All the links to the jobs and service calls. So that's how simple it is to use the PO vendor change. And then if we hop over to the payables transaction side, it basically works the same way. So we can do a new one here. So I'm just going to pick a vendor and put in some information here. And then if I, at this point, the vendor field is disabled, and I realize, oh, I didn't mean to do Allenson. I want to pick a different vendor, and so I can do that here too, and commit, and then now I'm updated to Attractive Telephone Company. So super easy to use. As Cheryl said, lots of our customers have this. It's a great tool, and the two windows, the PO vendor change and the PM vendor change come together in the one tool. So 2 for the price of 1, and super easy to use.
Thanks for pointing that out, Sandy. I forgot to mention that. So good. As well as I'll mention the question and chat windows are they're open on my windows. So if you have anything you want to put in there, I'll be sure to see it. So thanks, Sandy.
Yeah, cool. And then next we'll look at the vendor inquiry. And so that one is under the inquiry menu, wsTOOLS, and then as Cheryl showed, we've got it on the customer side as well, but we're looking at vendor today. And so I'll just pick my first, or let's see, one I know has a lot of stuff with it. I use this one a lot. And so again, like Cheryl said, you can pick which buckets you want to see here. If we're going to see open work or history, I just need to click on my bucket here, like current period or 61 days and over or whatever. And I can unmark and it's refreshing automatically. And then when we want to, we can just go and hit the Excel button here. And let's see, there it is. And then it exported that to Excel for us. So then you can slice and dice it if you got a lot of records in here and want to look at them. So super handy.
So Sandy, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you just for
Yeah.
a second. So one thing in this window that is a little bit different because it's not dexterity window is you can click also to, let's say, on the document number field and sort it that way. So if you
Oh
wanted to,
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
yeah, I
Or
mean, and so
maybe,
that's handy. So like if you're searching for a particular number, right, it makes it a little bit easier because you can sort on any one of those columns down there from a search perspective as well. So just thought I'd throw that in, Sandy.
yeah, that is a nice feature about it. And again, works the same way on the customer side too. Okay, next up on our list is the PM Unapply, and that's over here under the utilities menu. And so I'll go ahead and pick this one because I just did a transaction for it and hit redisplay here. And so like this one here, the 20058 for $750. And again, in this window, we can pick what we see here, if we only want to see the historical, or if we want to see open and historical. But anyway, I'll just pick this 20058, click the Unapply button, click Unapply, and then if I hop over to, one of these two windows, and we'll just do it by vendor, then my 20058, instead of being a historical record, is now open. And so then we can apply that differently. If we'd applied it wrong before, now we can fix where we want to apply that $750. Okay, any questions so far, or should I move on?
So far so good, no questions. So yep, keep going. But
Okay.
yeah, so that
Oh,
one definitely comes in handy because yeah, if you got your payment or anything, already applied to the wrong thing or credit memos, whatever it might be, right? Bringing those
yep.
back and fixing them up.
Okay, so next is simple use. And as Cheryl said, this works in other windows as well, like receivings, transaction entry, invoicing, returns. I'm just going to look at it for right now in payables, but it works the same way in all of those windows. So we'll go ahead and enter a new one here. I'll pick my favorite vendor and we'll put in a document number. And then I'll just start putting in some values here. Oops, let's make it a little bigger.
Bigger than 10
And then,
bucks. I'm just kidding.
yeah. And then once I tab down to the tax field, this window, the simple use window, opened for me automatically. The use tax isn't marked right now, but all I have to do if I want to say that this transaction should have use tax is mark the checkbox, and then it puts the negative of the tax in the use tax field here. And then as you can see, it puts that, it takes over the miscellaneous field and puts that here so that they net out to, to just I guess, to subtract the tax. And then if we don't want to have that, we can just unmark it. but that's about all there is to that one. And you know, our distribution should balance out. We've got it there, so we're good to go. Just save it and go on. I'm gonna just delete this though for now. And so that is simple use. And then again, it works the same way in the other windows. And let's see, our last tool we were going to talk about is the summary recalc, which is also here under the utilities menu. And so again, if you've, you know, if there was some mistake made during the year-end close, like you ran it twice or whatever the case might be, you can come in here and correct that. So you can run it for calendar year, fiscal year, previous, life to date, whatever, you know, or set your dates and then just hit process. And then once you do that, you can, you know, go look at your summary for your vendors and see that it's back to what it should be. And yeah, that's really about it for this. And again, this tool comes with the same thing on the receivable side, and it works the same way there. So that's about it for the payables summary recalc.
Well, and Sandy, I have questions coming in here, so hold on.
Good.
All
And you
right,
can take all the tough ones.
I get the tough ones. I get the questions. All right. I'll decide which ones we read. I'm just kidding. All right, so the first one is, how do you run a report on the use tax? Which is an excellent question. So since we are using the GP schedules, it's actually the GP tax report you would be printing for your tax details inside of GP. So just like you would on your sales tax side, you could do it on your use tax side. So all within GP, no additional products or anything needed to do that. All right, we have more. Sandy, I got a few here.
Okay, okay.
Let's see, on the vendor inquiry, is there any thought to adding a date range to and from date? We have some vendors with hundreds of invoices.
Huh.
So go back and show that one there. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yep, suggestion of, have you thought about adding a date range for to and from? And so the date ranges are all driven on the right by your current aging buckets that you have set up in your system. So most people run monthly. So if you were just clicking on, if you could do the 61 and over maybe, or the current one, go
I
there.
have a negative there. Let's see. How about that one?
Sure. Yep. So like you say, it could be hundreds listed here, but again, you could use the source at the top.
Right. Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
if you
doc
want
date
to,
or due date.
yep. And then, if you have hundreds, maybe that Excel option is the best one where you could go filter, out to Excel and then filter from there. But good question. Yep. The only date range right now is currently on the aging buckets is how you would do it. So good.
Okay.
We got some more maybe on top of that one. But if you
Okay.
are pulling history, need the date range. Got it. Yep.
Okay.
If you're pulling in history, and then it's probably all on the back. Okay. Let's see. We got one more. Does the use tax show in the distribution? While the cost is charged to a job, does the use tax hit the job? Yes, it does. And that's part of also with job cost and service, that you can have the cost of the use tax go over on the job as well. So, yep, for the distribution window. Sorry, Sandy, I jumped in there and answered them.
That's all right. You keep going. You're on a roll.
Let's see. I think, we got another one. Use tax. Can you show us the process in receiving transaction entry? Yeah, do you want to bring up that?
Yeah, I don't know if I have, let's see what I might have ready here. I don't have any already there. Oops, I need to switch it to shipment invoice. And let's see, I think.
And while you're looking, so So the reason Sandy said I got to switch over to shipment invoice is that it's on the invoicing portion. So it's, if you're in receiving transaction entry, it has to be shipment invoice, or you can be in the invoice entry, invoice match window, or again on the return piece as well. So she's looking to see what she's
Let's
got.
see. Yeah, I think we'll try there, and then let's put in about auto generate.
Oh, you picked a
This
serialized.
is one I know that, yeah, I could do a receipt on. So, and oh, there it popped up for me already. So I can again just mark the use tax checkbox, and then that's updated the miscellaneous field here. And you wanted to look at distributions, or?
She was just wondering how it works in receivings.
Okay, yeah, so works the same way, and we can see here the 7970, and then that's 7970, and then we can just go ahead and post it, and so we'll look at stuff here.
Yeah, and the posting accounts we're defaulting in off of your tax schedules, off of your tax details, I should say, is where the posting accounts are. So those are coming in, just you've specified them as a use tax. So, oh, and we get
So,
that is awesome. We got a comment back.
yeah, cool, good. Yeah, so there we can see it, and then the next one I think is our distributions. So 7970, 7970. Let's see. Oh, here, and then these ones. Yeah. So the tax is broken up here between Illinois State and Chicago City, but this 6831 and 1139 adds to the 7970. So we net to 0 here.
And it's going to her miscellaneous expense right now on her report, but so that's the account it comes from, is from the miscellaneous as well, right? The debit credit side. And so if you want it to post to a different account, you would have to just change your setup for that miscellaneous account field. If you want it to go to like a use tax type account. So.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Okay.
I think we got all the questions. Just making sure.
Okay.
Any others before we close out? Just want to make sure. And Judy can keep me honest to make sure I didn't miss any.
Looking great, great presentation. So much information to share and wonderful questions. So if you have any other questions after this, please feel free to email us or give us a call, and we're happy to help you out with the answer to any of your questions. And great job today, Sandy and Cheryl. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks everyone for attending. We greatly appreciate your time. We're trying to finish in that half-hour slot, and it looks like we did pretty well. We still have a couple minutes left. So again, if you have questions, we're here to answer those. If you're ready to go and got the information you need, again, thank you for attending. We'll certainly appreciate your time, as well as if you want to check it out again. I know Judy will be sending out emails, the postings out there. So if you want to see the webinar again and show somebody else in your office, you are certainly welcome to. So thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.